There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With over 140 channels in your vehicle, your all-access trial includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video on Demand. What you love is on now.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? And thanks for tuning in to another lunchtime learning session here on CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM. Today, we've got a fun one because I always find it's fun when we can kind of get interactive with our guests. And today, our brand that we're featuring today is VOXX Electronics. Now, we spent the time on a previous Connected episode, along with some time spent during CMA Industry Week, talking about a really interesting segment that's kind of had a resurgence of late due to technology, of course. And we're talking about mobile video. So my man, mobile video, when it comes to mobile video, I got to refer to Joe Caltabiano, who is the Vice President of Vehicle Entertainment at VOXX Electronics. And today we got something special because Joe's not in a suit at his desk today. No, sir. He's got his sleeves rolled up, and he's going to be coming to us live from VOXX Garage, where we're going to do a hands-on, live, interactive demonstration of these seat back 10-inch video systems that VOXX Electronics certainly has. So let's go ahead and connect with Joe because he should be set up at the VOXX Garage. Let's see. There we are.
How you doing, everybody? How you doing, Ben?
You weren't lying. You said you'd be in the garage today.
I am in the garage.
Good to see you, Joe. How's everything?
Everything is great. It's good to be on again. Thank you for the time.
And, I was just making reference to the fact that, we did take the time and show the folks, what the line's about and the features. And we talked about the VOXLink app. But then in discussion, we're like, man, if only we could really show them the ease of installation, what it looks and feels like in a real life environment. And also if we could show them what that app does. And I think if we can do that, I think the dots will connect in people's minds.
Absolutely. So that's exactly what we're going to do, right? So we're going to walk you through a little bit of the simplicity of the installation first, because that's half of the beauty of the system is how easy we made it. I mean, essentially, it is a universal installed solution for up to 85% of vehicles. And when I say that, this is what I mean. So when you take off the headrest out of 85% of the vehicles that are out there in market, you're always going to have some kind of seat post guides going down into the seat. Because of these seat post guides, we've designed a bracket system. This is one half of the bracket. It's a metal bracket that mounts to the back of each of our monitors. And how we designed it is, well, first, obviously, you got to route a cable, right? So the system comes with a DIN cable for each monitor. Around these seat post guides, there's usually generally some play. There's no cutting involved. You're going to use a tool like a plastic pry tool to wedge in there, give you a little room. And depending on the seat, and they're all different. Sometimes it's easier to run the cable from the bottom up, and sometimes it's easier to run the cable from the top down. But like I said, you're not going to cut, you're not going to drill. You're going to pull away with a plastic pry tool to work your cable down into the seat. So this way, the right angle connector is the only one that's coming outside that'll then plug into the back of the actual monitor.
Now, just for reference, Joe, what vehicle are you working on today, just to have a reference point?
This is a 2019 Dodge Ram 1500 Laramie.
Okay.
So in this type of seat, just bring the light a little closer here. So in this type of seat, we happen to have a felt top. So it makes it really easy to slide up and on. If you're doing a vehicle that has leather or vinyl, I would always suggest laying some kind of cloth on top of here first. You could lay the cloth, wedge it up under here. So when you take this bracket, now watch this closely, right? So envision this coming out from under here. I'm going to have this wire going underneath, feeding that. Going to snug that up under. I'm just pressing down lightly, and it's going under those seat post guides. It's not mounting to the actual metal post of a headrest. It's going underneath the seat post guides. Once I've done that part, Then I'm going to take the other part of our equation, the other bracket, goes right over the top, right? We make it so it could adjust depending on the width of this seat post guide that may be in a vehicle. And basically, it's cantilever going right up and over. So it's still underneath the seat post guides, but now I'm sandwiched underneath the seat post guides, and this thing is locked on. So after you do that, we have some hardware. You're going to, apply your nuts to those bolts. Then there's another bracket that goes on top. This is just a little extra stability. And what this is going to let you do is it kind of sandwiches it. And if you could see up there close, you can see how this hole is unobstructed. So the seat actual headrest can still move free and independent.
It doesn't affect its wiggle room or its
it doesn't. So if this was a motorized headrest or a regular manual headrest, you don't have to worry about it interfering with the adjustment. And then we finish it off with a nice pretty cover. Goes on top. Again, all the hardware obviously has to be applied. And then around the sides of this, we actually have some cutout grooves. In our kits, we include little rubber grommets that plug in and cover these grooves. But the reason why we have these grooves there is if you had to ever adjust a manual headrest, which is very infrequent, right? Once you have it in your set spot, you're really not going to be adjusting your headrest all the time. But if you had to, then you can get in there with either a finger or even a tool to adjust the headrest or even take the headrest out.
You're talking about just, I guess, pressing on the latch. Usually there's a latch of some kind that kind of
side of the unit. But since we put the whole bracket assembly on here, you're not going to be able to, get in there the traditional way. So we cut out these grooves so you can access it. Go around the front real quick. You can see. So we made these slotted off grooves.
There it is.
For finished look, we give rubber grommets that pop in here, so it's nice and covered. But if you had to adjust it, you can get in there and adjust it.
And again, that cable would be routed into the seat. It wouldn't be.
This would be routed into the seat, all hidden. This is a complete clean installation. So again, like I said, being the felt seat, it's really easy to do. If you have vinyl, like I said, or leather, you just want to protect the seat top because even though this metal is not jagged, all the edges are finished. You still don't want to have any friction that could possibly mar the seat in any way, shape, or form. Because the nice, beautiful thing about the system is you could take this out. You're going to sell your car, your truck, your SUV. You could pop this thing out and put it in another vehicle. It's that easy. This is not like
there's no permanent modification involved whatsoever.
Correct. You're not worrying about having to cut a hole in the roof like an overhead, or replacing the factory headrest with custom headrests, which is a big investment for time installation. We've designed this so simple. It's that DIN cable that I showed you going through each seat, and then a T-harness. You're connecting the DIN cables to each side of the T-harness, power, ground, and AV out. So AV out's good because even though the units have built-in FM transmission, you can go direct to a head unit that has AV and capabilities and play it through the vehicle audio system that way versus FM transmission. That's why we do the AV out.
Very nice.
Very easy install. Very, very simple. It's different than, cut sheet, tuck it under. That adds extra time. I mean, you saw me install one of these. This whole install in this particular vehicle would take no more than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
On a hard vehicle, and the hardest part's going to be running a wire through your seat. And again, it varies. That's where you get into additional time. But outside of that, it's super installed.
Now, do you recommend running a fish top and then taping and bringing it down? Is that how you would recommend doing that?
Yeah, you can. But like I said, this is any installer that is installed, and that's the reason why we bring customers in, right? If we made it too easy, then anybody could do it.
Right.
So professional installers know trying to work around some of these. It's all different. Some of them are plastic, some of them are metal, some of them won't allow a fish to easily go around because there's too many things to move around inside of there. It's kind of trial and error. Anybody who does restyling work, seat coverings, they'll be an expert at it. But
for sure,
traditional installers who've had to route wires through seats, what you could be up against. Some of them are very simple. Vehicles that have seat backs are very simple because you can pop off the seat backs and access it that way. And that brings me to okay, what about the vehicles that don't have seat post guides, like this one? So there is about 15% of vehicles out there, and I use this example a lot. The Lincoln Navigator with the 30-way power position seat is one seat, no headrest.
Right.
In that case, what we do is we give instructions on how to disassemble that top section of that one-piece seat from the bottom, how to take the seat back off. We have a bracket, a specialty bracket that mounts to factory locations and allows you to mount our monitors. When you put it all back together, it looks like the factory rear seat entertainment system that comes from Lincoln. But It does a lot more than the factory system that comes from Lincoln. So we have that for Lincoln. We have it for Audis. We have it for Mercedes. Mercedes has a factory rear seat entertainment system that fits into a slot in the back of the seat. We've duplicated that bracket to take our system and mount it into that vehicle as well. So we have a whole listing of specialty brackets for those specialty applications. So 100% coverage in all vehicles.
I like that because, you think about mobile video in the backseat of vehicle, all the obvious audience would be, families with younger children. But then I'm also thinking, what's a couple of the vehicles you just mentioned, maybe a more executive approach too, right?
Absolutely. So now you go away from the traditional wow, driving parents crazy, kids in the back seat, right? That's what these solutions are supposed to solve. Keep sanity for parents on road trips. But like you mentioned, now what about the guy who is in the back of a vehicle being, driven? Maybe it's an Uber, maybe it's a professional limo service, maybe it's whatever it may be. They can use this for productivity. This is essentially a tablet from what it can do, right? And if bring the camera around, let's get into some of the things that the unit does. Right. So just basic overview. We have one of the monitors installed. This is a dual system. There would normally be two monitors in the vehicle paired up together. They could both communicate to each other. You could share content from this monitor to the other one, or vice versa, from that monitor to this monitor. This one happens to have a built-in DVD player, USB input to read media off a USB thumb drive, or to even charge a device. Has a built-in micro SD slot. So if you are one of the type of techie people like to load up content on thumb drives or media sticks, then you can input those on the side of the unit and play that content back there. But really, redesign the system for one pure purpose in year 2021, and that's to be able to stream directly into the system like you could on your phone, or like you could on your TV, smart TV at home, or like you can on your tablet. So there's no need here to have to connect a device, meaning you don't have to connect an Amazon Fire TV stick. You don't have to connect a Chromecast, a Roku, and you don't have to connect your own phone, because we have the ability here to open up the Google Play Store.
Directly from the unit.
Yeah, so directly from the unit. And this is sometimes where we get a lot of questions and confusion. Well, what if I have iOS? Okay, has nothing to do. This system operates off an Android platform, right? So there's Android phones and tablets. There's Apple phones and tablets. That's just the backbone operating system. What's presented to the user is all the same apps, right? You can find Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, all these apps you can find on either respective devices. So on this particular one, it's Android based. So you have a Google Play Store. That's your app store. So it's a free app store. If you don't have an Android device where you already have access to Google Play, you sign in and you create one. And then once you do have an account, you can see all the apps that are available. Now, obviously, some apps are free to use. Some you have to pay for with a subscription, like Netflix, Prime, whatever. That as long as you have those subscriptions, then once the app is downloaded, you just, open it up and put in your credentials. And now you're off and running, and you can watch whatever you want to watch, just like you would in any other environment.
Right there makes it so intuitive. You're not having to mirror your phone or another device or plug in. That is the device right there.
I mean, if we were ground up starting this from scratch, when you first power up these units, these buttons right here are going to flash red, blue, and that's just the operating system it's just firing up in the background. It takes about 10 seconds. Once it does, lights stay solid, you turn the unit on. Okay, the first thing you're going to do as a new user is you're going to go into the settings menu. You go into settings menu, you're going to set up your Wi-Fi. So it's just like if you're setting Wi-Fi up on any device, right? You're going to see the available devices. You're going to click it. You're going to enter in your password. And now that becomes a registered device. So it could be mom's phone, dad's phone, one of the kids' phones. Could be your home hotspot. It could be vehicle Wi-Fi. A lot of vehicles come through with Wi-Fi as a factory option now. You could set all those in the memory of the device. Whichever one's on and the most powerful is what the monitors are going to connect to. In this particular example, I have this connected to our shop Wi-Fi. So let's just pretend that that's the vehicle Dodge Uconnect Wi-Fi system for a second, right? So if I'm using the vehicle Wi-Fi, I'm connected there. So now we back out of Wi-Fi. As long as you're connected to Wi-Fi, that gives you full capabilities of being able to stream content on demand. Open up your app, pick whatever you want to play. Sorry, I'm doing this one-handed. Pick what you want to play, and then stream it direct. Now, here's the other thing. I mentioned before, you can make one of the Wi-Fi hotspots your home Wi-Fi. Let's say the car's in the garage, it's in the driveway. Before I'm taking my road trip, I don't want to be consuming Wi-Fi on the fly because I don't have an unlimited data plan, or I don't have vehicle.
I can tell you in Canada, we definitely do not have unlimited data plans.
Exactly. So you're a little bit more conscious up there, right?
Absolutely.
So being more conscious up there, well, what are you going to do? Again, if you're in the Wi-Fi menu, you open up an app such as Netflix. Give you a little example here. Okay, if I want to go to a movie, this movie offers me the ability to download it for offline viewing. So that was originally made for people who go on planes or on, trips where you may not have Wi-Fi access. Well, same scenario works in the back of a car too. So if I already I'm connected to home Wi-Fi, download the movie, it sits in the living memory of the device. Now these monitors have 16 gigabytes of memory each. That's a lot of room, a lot of memory capacity to download offline content. The only downloading of offline content, we do not control how long that the movie will live in the memory. It'll disappear at the will of the app provider or the movie studio that provides the content. It could last a day, could last a week. We never know. But it's totally cool to be able to download that and not have to worry about Wi-Fi.
Yeah, if you're planning a road trip, right?
Totally.
Man, that's perfect.
Totally. So, that's the simplicity of it. But here's the other super cool factor, right? We developed our own app called VOXX. It's a free app. It's available on the Apple App Store or the Android Google Play Store. Once you have the monitor connected to a Wi-Fi network and the phone connected to the same Wi-Fi network, then you're going to be able to see the monitors on the app. Once you select that monitor, now if I'm mom or dad in the front seat and I have a 1-year-old in a car seat that can't touch the screen or is too young to even know how to control the screen, then I could do it all from the front seat without having to see what they're watching, because I could see exactly what they're watching on my mobile device. So get both these images here. So right now I'm in the front seat. Kids are complaining. The movie stopped that I had previously playing. I go into Netflix. I pick a new movie for them, whatever that may be. I can get it started right from my personal smartphone device.
Look at that.
Right?
And you can control both screens?
Yeah, I would just back out of the app. I would just open it and go back into the other one. So I just select which monitor I want to control. Right now, it's telling me because it's lit up green that this monitor is the active monitor that I'm now seeing. So what it's doing is basically it's sending command controls to the monitor, and then this is sending images, microsecond images, back to my phone to be able to render the content that's playing. This is not meant to be a third monitor per se. It's not meant for like mom to be able to watch what the kids are watching too. It's just meant to be a control device that gives you visibility to what they're watching.
What really the first thing that comes to mind is no more pulling over to the next service station just to reset a film or to do anything of that nature. You can do it while driving.
No more.
In the passenger seat, of course, we're not saying the driver should be doing this, but in the passenger seat, we're assuming mom. It could be dad as well. Whoever's in the passenger seat can control the rear screens with that app.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, you could take it another level, right? If you had an aftermarket head unit that had an Android or some kind of operating system that allowed you access to apps, you could download the VOXX app into your head unit.
Oh, and then you can all watch and have like a drive-in.
Yeah. Now, again, that could be limited, right? There's a lot of head units.
True.
We don't want to confuse Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, because obviously a lot of limitations on what apps populate and what apps don't. But, aftermarket head units sometimes are not all necessarily working off of those platforms. So it could be a possibility. But anyway, long story short, we gave you something that no one else has and no one else ever had. And you're absolutely correct. The old way of handling that was reaching around your shoulders, stopping, pulling over, fumbling with the remote. You don't have to do that anymore. We give you convenience right here. That
is a huge selling point. And for dealers, you have to have this screen installed somewhere in your showroom and, show the customer with this app. Okay, pull out your phone and show them how you're controlling this. This is, for me, an easy sale if somebody's looking for some mobile video in their vehicle. Now, I have more questions for you, Joe. How many screens can that app control?
Up to 10 systems.
So multi-vehicle as well.
Well, yeah, it could be multi-vehicle, but I mean, we do, ever since we introduced this system, because we've always been in the business of selling custom headrests. So, selling custom headrests, generally you're doing a paired system in the second row seat, right? Very few and infrequently you would do another system in the third row. As soon as we launched this, we saw that the adoption of four-way systems was growing really rapidly. And to the point where we made it so easy to install, and because the app can control 4 monitors easily, you could do even a minibus.
Right. I can think about that.
I mean, it could be this vehicle, it could be another vehicle. We sell a smart TV overhead system, works off the same app. So no matter how you configure these, you'll be able to see up to 20 monitors on the VOXX app. Just select it and control it all remotely.
Yeah, the reason I mentioned multi-vehicle is, what if you had a minivan and you had an SUV, right?
Absolutely.
And so you same app, once you connect to that network or those screens, you'll be able to control those. It's not like a whole new setup again.
Yeah, we kind of opened up a little bit more of a customer base for our retail customers when we introduced this because of
kidding
simplicity. I mean, what would you do when you had a bus before? Yeah, you could put a bunch of overheads, daisy chain them, put one here, covers a couple of rows, put another one here, covers a couple of rows. With this, now you can get very specific from a seat structure standpoint. And you can offer, depending on what that vehicle is used for, you can offer your consumer riding that or enjoying that ride, one-on-one interaction with the system. So a lot of flexibility, a lot of things that you can do with this.
So there's so many things I'm thinking about, even if you go into a zoo and you're doing this tour of the thing, I don't know, there's just so many ways you could use this technology that probably hasn't even been explored yet.
Absolutely.
So
like I said, I mean, super easy to use, as you can see.
Could you show us that? So a little bit of adjustability as well, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, since I didn't have it all bolted down, I didn't want to play with it too much. But, we kind of optimize where this monitor should sit within the vehicle. So it doesn't sit directly behind the headrest because for most the occupants in the back seat, they're going to be younger children. So we don't want to have it too high where they're looking up. We kind of centered it right here. It's more of a natural state of viewing anyway. But if you had to adjust the viewing angle, you can adjust it up and down.
Mm-hmm.
We're even coming out with a bracket in the next 30 days that if you had a car seat in here, because again, car seats vary too, right? You had a car seat that lifts up, and we'll never know the rake angle of what the front seat user is going to have this seat. They may like it all the way back. They may like it leaned all the way back. So in sometimes that can create some conflicts, right? So we created what we call an SBK lift bracket, and it basically takes the monitor and lifts it higher so it clears any car seat if a person has this too far back. It still lets you adjustable viewing angle. So little things that we've learned as we've gone through the process of launching this. We launched this back in December 2019, and after a little over a year's worth of sales, we learned a lot of things, and we've been able to improve it from an installation standpoint, improve it from a feature standpoint. So we'll always keep evolving and innovating and making these systems better.
So, I mean, just to review, I mean, a couple of things that I jotted down here, the universal fitment. It's first and foremost. Number two, even the problem installations you have a solution for with different brackets available. And you pretty much said you covered the entire gambit spectrum of vehicles out there. The fact that it is a standalone unit, both in operation, GUI, as well as memory. Awesome. But obviously the game changer for me has to be that VOXX Link application. That changes everything. When you show a customer that, it just clicks, right? I mean, I want it 100%. So my question to you, Joe, is what's next? Are we going to see bigger screens? Like, what's next for this technology in this segment?
Well, we put this in a seatback configuration because we wanted to go big, right? This is a 10.1 inch screen diagonal. You can't fit that in a headrest. So we want to launch this thing and kind of get a vibe for, people, do they still like the embedded solution that's kind of all in one versus the seat back that hangs off the seat? Well, we learned that people obviously do like the seat back solution. There are still people who love embedded, but people like this. So we launched this first. Then we put the same platform in a drop-down overhead because there's still a demand for that as well, right? This system, as a dual system is, it's up there from a price point. When an overhead cuts the price point in half because it's a single monitor for two people to share. The next evolution of it is we're going to take this and put it into our 8-inch custom headrest monitors. And our custom headrest monitors are built down here in our Florida facility where we match the material, meaning the cloth, the leather, the vinyl, the grain patterns, the stitching colors, all the details and nuances of a factory headrest. We match that in our custom headrest platform. So for the vehicle owner that doesn't want something hanging off the back, they want it clean and embedded, we're going to have those solutions at the end of this year. And then at the end of this year or going into next year around the CES time frame for us, there'll be some new announcements related to improvements and enhancements that we're doing to all the smart TV systems that we have in our arsenal.
I'm sure I'll be able to get a hold of you sometime during that time frame for you to share that with us. Hopefully.
Yeah, we're going to keep it a little close to the vest for now, but as we get closer, we'll be exhibiting. As soon as we start showing those publicly at the shows, then we'll hop on back with the CMA team and give you insight.
Well, hey, I'll tell you what. I put up the digits down here, so if you're watching this for the first time, either on demand or live, and you're interested in VOXX Electronics, check out their website. There it is, voxelectronics.com. Joe is the vice president for everything vehicle entertainment. We didn't talk a lot about the different brands within, the offering. Do we want to touch on that at all?
Sure. So these systems, by the way, are backed with a 3-year warranty because we do a lot of work in the aftermarket expedited channel, servicing car dealers. That's our primary basic customers. I mean, we do service traditional retail, 12-volt car specialists, but we do a lot of work at the car dealer level. So we sell it under an Advent brand. That's our expeditor brand. We sell it under the VOXX brand. That's our retail brand. We acquired a brand back about 4 or 5 years ago now called Rosen. Wasn't another big name in rear seat entertainment. We rolled them under our VOXX umbrella, and we kept that brand. And that kind of sells in both channels, retail and expediter. And then we have our direct-to-car dealer brand that's called Envision. That's really for car dealerships that actually have someone on site in-house to perform installations. So that's how we create channel separation with the different brands.
Fair enough. Joe, I can't thank you enough unless there's anything else. I mean, I'm very happy with this presentation today. I had a lot of messages after our session together. It'd be really cool to see how that bracket actually works. And man, you checked off all the boxes from the VOXX Garage today.
We always enjoy being on the show, Ben, and wherever we can help, create more insight and give the product, the big spotlight, we're on board.
Well, I think we're going to have to do this format a little bit more often because for me, this was very interactive and I totally understood. I have no questions. I just hope dealers watch this and order some and get these into the back seats of customers' cars because they're going to be happy for sure.
Perfect.
Thanks a lot, Joe. Take care.
Appreciate it.
And there you have it. That's Joe Caltabiano, once again, Vice President, Vehicle Entertainment over at VOXX Electronics. And, that was a little bit of a special request from my part, in talking to the guys over at VOXX. I was like, that screen and that technology with that app is just something we have to show because it's so relevant right now. This is what people want. This is the solution that people are looking for. Yeah, I think it's a little bit maybe higher in the price range, but I think you'd be pleasantly surprised on the reaction that you would have from customers if you could have that product in hand or in the store and demo it the way that Joe just showed you how to. And once they see the benefits and the features, I'm pretty confident there's going to get some, pretty positive reactions. Anyhow, that's a great session here. Ending off this week, I'm wishing everybody a great and fantastic weekend. If you haven't had the chance, we did our CMA Live this past Wednesday on motorcycles. Go ahead and get on to CanadianMobileAudio.com and check out all our videos on demand. Of course, all the CMA Industry Week videos, over 100 hours of content is still up there for you to watch. Take this weekend, squeeze in some time, get your learn on. That's what we did it for. Big, huge collaboration industry-wide that made that happen. Anyhow, once again, thanks for tuning in to CMA Connected, presented by SiriusXM. Wishing you a great weekend. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.